I'm proud of what I've done. So I'm sharing this for clarity, not sympathy, because quiet discipline matters more than applause. And somebody need to hear that. Let me tell y'all where I come from. I learned early on how to stand on my own, think for myself, figure things out. I didn't grow up with what they called a silver spoon. It was me, my mom, and my two younger brothers. That shaped me more than people even realized. Back then, and even back then, people assumed I had it. I'm assuming it was because of the way I carried myself, the way I looked, the way I moved. But baby, I ain't had no money. Sometimes we barely even had the basics. My mom did her best, but we made it do what it do. Even with all of that, I didn't complain. I just learned how to figure it out. And that's where some of the creativity came from, some of the hustle came from, and that's where the confidence came from. In high school, I was different, sort of quiet and creative. My circle was small, and one good friend was enough to keep me grounded. However, I was always up front, not because it was easy. The work was just getting done. I was the first jazz band soloist. I became the president of the student body. I also was the captain of the abstinence team in a group that I created. I was chosen as the lead choir soloist, ending up singing on TV. What I did have was a mind that wouldn't quit and a heart that knew I was meant for more, even when life didn't look like it yet. I just learned how to show up anyway. I always wanted to be a cheerleader. I just wanted to be cute. And I didn't always look like what people thought a cheerleader was supposed to look like. But it was something I wanted. So I went after it. I tried out the year before and I ain't make it. That stung. I just wanted one good year. I wanted to feel cute, like I belonged. But my final year in high school, honey, I made it. And that's when the criticism started. They talked about my technique, what I didn't have, what I couldn't do. So I worked harder. When we went to cheer camp, they taught us the routines. But when everybody went to sleep before the big day to prove who's going to win the All-Star, I stayed up till like 5 a.m, learning the routines, perfecting the dances, adding my own little flavor. I showed up that same morning. I was tired, hyped up, but I was prepared. And when it came time to perform, honey, I danced my ass off. You hear me? I added extra. And at the end of the routine, winked at the judges. I showed up fully confident. And overall, out of thousands of cheerleaders, 3 or 4 individuals were chosen to be crowned All-Star Cheerleader. That same year, my very first year, I made All-Star Cheerleader. So yeah, it was a big deal. And then God wasn't done. When they placed the medal around my neck, they handed me the mic. They overheard me singing Mariah Carey Hero somewhere in camp, but they asked me to sing. And there I was singing in front of thousands. And in that moment, God confirmed something I already knew. Many years later, in my 30s, I was asked to play Celie in the Color Purple Broadway play. I first heard the music that I would have to sing to. I thought it was out of my vocal range. I didn't think I could sing that. I sing, but not like that. But I tried anyway. And that show became one of the most powerful performances that I've ever done. And people still talk about that show till this day. And that taught me something. You don't always see your capacity clearly until you step into it. It wasn't about applause. It was about realizing that I'm capable of more than I thought. And that's a lesson I carry everywhere. I've learned over time that not everyone who is clapping for you is actually celebrating you. Sometimes people start comparing, and comparison turns into discomfort. I don't like to call everything jealousy, but when someone starts pointing out your gifts as if it's a problem or it's a liability, that's not support. That's projection. And I value connection, but I value peace. I don't force relationships. I allow alignment. And I've learned it's okay to stand alone if it means staying true. Everything I went through shaped how I move today. It taught me perseverance, discernment, emotional strength. Loneliness didn't break me. It built resilience. If you're in a season where you feel overlooked, don't give up on yourself. Don't fake friendships. Don't dim your gifts. Stand, grow, become. Why? Because God will display what people try to downplay.